Greetings, family. This is totally shot from the hip. I just woke up. This is the wee hours right now. The sun hasn't even come up yet. And I had a terrible rest. Why would I speak about a terrible rest? Why would I honor it by just waking up and saying, instead of saying I'm waking up to a beautiful day, to say that, oh, I had a terrible rest. I did. And I had some weird dreams with that terrible rest. And it taught me something. And since my day consists of rest anyway, I'm going to get it. And I do feel rested, but the experience of sleep and REM sleep was very elusive to me. And many times when you don't get to that deepest sleep, which is something that I enjoyed in America, not as much as I do now, we kind of freak out and say, man, we didn't get a good rest. Why? Well, that coupled with my dreams, after laying there for a while before getting up now to record this, because I'm probably going to go back, now that I have the answer, I realized a lot of things even more so. You know, sometimes, and this is going to be very abstract. This is nothing where I jotted down notes and I'm reading from notes, so there's going to be a framework or skeleton to speak from. And I used to do a lot of these before, like Lance. We know you kind of ragging against Kamala Harris. We know you're kind of ragging against racism and the tensions of America, but just be yourself and speak, which recently I have. But these types of intuitive expressions, which are not there to grab hits, and not, because really and truly, y'all, I'm not into that. I really wasn't. But that was put on me. Oh, you're getting a lot of hits, you're getting a lot of traffic. I don't care. I'm like that pastor, and I don't think I'm a pastor, right? I don't care if there are 500 people sitting there listening to me or 3. The intensity of my experience and the intensity of what I express, it's not going to change. And like I just used the analogy, and I've used it before, that if you're going down the highway at 90 miles an hour, but you decide that your exit is coming up, and the exit, you know, you have those exits that are not just straight next to the highway, but they turn all the way around. It's like a big circle. If you maintain that 90 or 80 miles an hour speed that you were going on down the straightaway, and you try to take that speed to the exit, you're going to fly off of the track. So we don't want to be off track. We don't want to fly off of the track. We want to maintain, which means sometimes we have to reduce our speed to stay on the track, so we can stay, not in a race because we're not racing anybody, but so we can stay in the race of life, you know, really against ourselves, because that's how I gauge. But let me get back to that. The different factors why I didn't have a good sleep, and there are different factors why I had the dreams that I have. I don't know if you've had this experience, right? Because now we have social media, we have articles, we have videos out there, and sometimes we'll watch a video, or we have a favorite channel that we watch, and we'll fall asleep and have a dream with that person who makes the videos, like just in ordinary everyday life. And you might not recognize them as that person, but when you wake up, you're like, wait a second, I dreamt about this content creator. So that's what kind of happened to me, right? So let me bring all this together and kind of explain my realizations and flow into something, as these types of contents that I make with the videos where I just wake up and I'm talking. I think it's a good thing, because it'll be heartfelt by somebody out there who understands or may need a little more clarification to a dilemma they're going through, right? A little sticking point. So I'm sitting here sleeping, knowing that I'm not as deep as I should be, right? Now, yesterday, last night I went down into Accra, and this is Saturday right now, and it was Friday night that I went into Accra. Friday night in Accra, especially around the Medina market, it is unbelievably packed and off the chain. And I'll say not off the chain like in America, worse than that. It's worse than that, but in a way, it's orderly. It's orderly. Nobody is out of place. But you know, last night I was trying to cross a major intersection, and there were lights, so people can stop, cars can stop, and no, but the cops took over, the police took over, and you saw the lights, but you're like, wait a second, the cars are still going through. Then you notice that there was a police officer over there, and it was like, okay, we gotta wait for him because the traffic will get clogged up one way for so long. The rhythm of the lights don't allow that one long street to allow enough cars to go by. So I'm standing there, we're standing there, and it's a long time. People are piling up. And then when it was time for the cop to say, hey, listen, okay, let's let the other street go, some of the cars were still in the intersection, and some of the people jumped in the way to cross the street because they were fed up with waiting. But it worked out in an orderly way because the car still crept up. Some people let the car go, some jumped in front of it as it was moving slow. And it was just so packed. People coming this way, that way, but I love the energy. But here's the thing, I live in extreme isolation, and I love it because it allows me to be in touch with myself. It allows me to see that I don't need any excess energies around me. Aside from Mr. SCURV, when I speak this way, it's not me talking bad about her or anything like that, but I'm just saying overall, there's nobody knocking on my door. There are not as many people calling me because they know I'm in a different country, right? So it's not like I'm calling you, maybe later on we can get together, maybe next week we can do this, we can do that. I'm written off, and I'm happy about that because this is one of the first times in my life that I've had myself to myself without the distractions of life. I want to give a big shout out to John Frazier, who called me last night. We reconnected, an old buddy of mine, and he was vouching for me. He lost my contact information, and he found an old phone that had my number in it, and he called me, and I was like, wow. So it's been a while, but in him knowing that I'm here in the motherland, because last time we actually spoke, it was right before I left, and then I left, and then I was catching him up on the progress and everything, and he was really taking it as inspiration and brought a good energy. And I thank the creator for that. And he's inspired also because he's fed up with America, and he's been that way. But he's one person who can vouch, and I'm all over the place, right? But I'll get back to the other point. He's one person who can vouch for my feelings to want to leave that place, which in essence, I was feeling this way from the 90s. So there are many people who want to lay claim that I'm the one who, no, you're not. No, you're not. This has been my feeling from a long time ago. Once my mother transitioned and I began to see, and it wasn't as defined like, I'm going to go to Ghana. I didn't know. I just know that I didn't want to be in New York at the time because it changed. I came to Florida, that changed, and different things opened my eyes to seeing that. Well, you know what? I don't even want to be in this country. So he's one person who can vouch from a long time ago, where others are saying, well, I'm the one who inspired him. No, you're not. No, you're not. If anything, he can vouch for me feeling the way that I've been feeling from that time. And on my own personal timeline, it doesn't involve anybody else. I'm not saying that about Miss SCURV, I'm just saying other than that, right? So, in going down into Accra last night, coming from an atmosphere of total tranquility, peace, of course you'll hear noises around you, but in my own little area of land and privacy of this, my friend calls a compound. He says, your house is not a normal house, it's a compound. He's convinced me of that. But most people would misunderstand that if I said that. But the privacy here is just phenomenal. And coming from New York City, let me just say, I'm going to leave a voicemail. Yeah, exactly. Yes, I want to say that you're right on point with this message. I'm actually recording something right now as I speak, and you'll hear this part in that video, in that audio. So you're right about that. And the response from my dear sister, because I explained all of this to her, and I said, you know what, I was going to write about it, and I said, nah, let me just come on here and talk. We need to have that connection. It's not a topic where we're speaking about politics or something in the world or some cataclysmic thing that might happen or whatever, but I need to do these fireside chats, so to say, right? Oh, I forgot to hit the off button. Anyway, I will talk to you in a little while, my sister. Yeah, so when I went down, I was like a clean, I could say clean white shirt. I don't want to make it seem like it's a white thing or a black thing. It could be a clean black shirt, right? Let's just say a clean white shirt. And I'm going down amongst a construction site where there's a lot of dust, a lot of dirt, a lot of different things going on. So when I come out of that area, maybe I had to give a message to someone, I noticed a little dust, a little mud, something impure that's there. Now, I'm not saying it in a way to say the people of Accra are impure or dirty. No. I mean this by there are a lot of spirits out there. And people say, oh, he's talking about this hocus pocus stuff. No, I don't mean that. Energies, spirits. Energies and spirits. And you go from a place where you're so cleansed and so in tune with yourself to being around countless thousands of people bumping into you, looking at you funny. They might be nice, they might smile, they may have good intentions. There's lots of good energy out there because I see people that I know. I've been here 29 months continuously, aside from the 3 weeks that I came out in 2019. So I'm beginning to have my roots, go down deep. So there are people I see all the time. They know I live here. And, hey, man, how you doing? They don't know anything about me, really, but they see me all the time. So you have the good energies out there, too, right? But with the people that you don't know that harbor their own toxic substances on a spiritual level within them, and this goes for anywhere, right? No matter where you live in the world, it can rub off on you. Not completely. It doesn't mean that when you get around somebody evil, you become evil. But imagine now, just like you see an equalizer, audio equipment, where you have the little graphs jumping up and down, right? Imagine you can see that in a person. Imagine you can actually see by measurement in a graph the evil in them, the good in them, the lust in them, the envy and jealousy in them, the anxiousness in them, the stress levels of them. What if people had a public dashboard? You're driving and you see if your oil is low, you see if the fuel is low, you see if the electrical system's working properly, and maybe you have an alternator problem coming on, the lights start to dim and you notice that. But the signs of how healthy your vehicle is that you can see and any of your passengers can see. So imagine if we had this way of gauging what the state of a person's mind, body, and soul is. We'd operate a lot differently now, wouldn't we? So I believe as energy beings, we can be touched or affected by a strong enough aura around them of a certain predominant energy. That imagine a big circle around you. It's not a circle or a big bubble around you. And like a mood ring that changes according to your moods, that bubble can be happy, really happy, with a little sadness. See, the other emotions don't leave completely, but you will have a dominant emotion that's there. Maybe you can have the evil that's in you reduced down to undetectable levels, because we all have the potential to be anything. We all have the potential to be evil. We all have the potential to be good, nice, vindictive, everything. But say your anger is so overwhelming, and the bubble around you might be 6 feet because it's a strong thing. But maybe when you're sad, it might be 1 foot around you. And why I say this bubble, we can walk into a person's energy fields, their bubble, but we don't see it. So now when you're walking in a crowd, you have all of these different energy fields affecting you. And this is the reason why when I came home last night and I tried to sleep, I was so much of a virgin in my energy, meaning that you're coming from a place of isolation, you're coming from a place of tranquility, you're coming from a place of peace, regardless as to what's on the outside of your walls, within your world, and then the other walls of your home, and the other rooms of your home, and the other underground rooms in your home that you can't hear anything on the outside. Because this is the way I designed this home, because home is like womb. Wombs are not just one little whatever. No. What's the word that on Doctor Strange comics? I used to read a lot of Doctor Strange comics. The inner sanctum sanctorium. This is my sanctuary. You can see the sanctuary from the outside, but you have no clue what's going on in the inside. And I come from such a protected womb / home that when I go outside, I'm fresh, I'm cleansed. Because when I'm home, I can create freely, even better than in America, because I don't have those energies to deal with as I'm up in the mountains, up in a few entities that may exist around. They're reduced greatly. I don't even sometimes know that anybody else is there. Because 85%, to be honest, and I'm talking about freedom here, 85%, 90% of this property I can walk around in without a stitch of clothes on and nobody will know. And I do. And I know the parts where not to walk, right? That's mental and spiritual freedom. People say that's too much information, SCURV, but no, it's very liberating. Very liberating. And I'm gonna mention that. We're free-flowing right now. We're taking you on a trip through my mind, my twisted, creative, abstract mind. When I first moved to Orlando, Florida, I found out that there was a nude beach called Playa Linda. Not player, like hey player, but Playa, Playalalinda. And it was a nude beach. And I was intrigued because I didn't want to go there and see people naked. But to be free of your uniform, to be free of the hats that you wear, to be free of what you see yourself to be. Okay, for those of you who have ever, and I'm still coming back to those points, I'm waking up, y'all, so I'm all over the place. This is how my mind is. If you ever had a job where you had to wear a uniform, right? And you're still home, you didn't get to work yet, maybe an hour and a half commute, or you have the uniform on and you won't be there for an hour and a half, you have other things to do, you want to stop by the store, put the stuff in your car, whatever. But the moment you put that uniform on and you see yourself in the mirror, you become the job. You're at work already, in a sense, because you have that uniform noose around your neck. That uniform is on your body. So when you walk out in the world, people can see where you work. Like when I used to work in corrections, when you leave and you leave and you finish your shift, if you go by the gas station to pump some gas, you're still that correction officer, but you're not getting paid at that point. You're still in the mindset of that job that you do. You see? So the experience of going to a nude beach, I didn't go up amongst everybody. Nobody was like packed up. People have healthy distances, but to be able to go there and experience nature find your own little corner, because it really wasn't a packed situation. Actually, you had to drive up a peninsula. What is it? NASA? What is it? Space? Whatever. You see that building, or one of them, and there's this narrow 2-lane road that it had 13 rest stops along the beach of that peninsula that ran parallel to the real body of Florida, which that's still Florida. And each rest stop was 2 miles apart exactly. Never forget it. And we had to go to the 13th one. So that meant you went up this peninsula 26 miles. And the one that was the last rest stop at the 26th mile, that was the part where it was unofficially a nude beach. So the authorities had nothing to say about it because it was so far off the beaten path, and it was a gray area. I guess some people would go all the way up there and say, oh my God, they're naked, look at her breasts hanging out. But it wasn't me wanting to go there and flash myself, whatever. Quite the contrary. I just wanted to be out of uniform, away from who I was supposed to be in society, me, nature, and God. And it was beautiful. And I wasn't paying any mind to look at people's bodies. There was a bunch of old folks in there anyway, right? And you didn't want to see what I saw. But they were playing volleyball, they're in the water, they're doing everything normal. But they didn't have the restrictions of being who they were supposed to be on a psychological level in society. And so I was addicted. I didn't go there every day. It was quite a drive to go there from Orlando and during your work week. And then sometimes I did go during my work week. I'd go there after work, depending on what shift I was on, or before. That's when I was really into it. But I'd really go off to the side, a little blanket, lay down, just take everything off. Nobody saw what I had. Nobody saw my junk. Wasn't embarrassed of it. I'm quite sure people did, but the feeling of freedom, right? And so I'm saying all that to say this, and most people don't even admit things, but I tell it like it is. I have no shame. I guess I am a nudist because I've made my home a nudist camp. But if I can see a window or a porch, yeah, I'm not going to go to that part. But I have a lot of private outdoor areas here. I have a private porch in the back that I can just chill, really chill. But anyway, make a long story short, you take that mentality and then you get yourself around a lot of people and you're bumping into them, the energy fields that they have, the attitudes they may flash at you for a split second. They look you up and down and scorn you. And this is not just about a crowd. This is anywhere, right? So I came down with this symbolic white shirt that was clean, pressed, and I brought back some dirt. I brought back energy that didn't belong to me, that tried to average me out in my energy field. And I'm kind of feeling it. No, not really now as much, a little bit. But I couldn't really get to the sleep that I wanted to get to. As far as not just REM sleep, but that totally letting go. Like when I was at the nude beach and totally let go in one way, right? But this way is another way. You're home. There's a huge wall around your home. You're locked in. Ain't nobody coming up in here. And if they do, they really have a death wish. You know what I mean? But I've never experienced this before. And the isolation from energies, from even people looking at you. It's a beautiful thing. I am so recharged. So in waking up, that feeling dissipated, but I did come home with that. And I just want you to be aware of that in your personal life, of the energy fields of people, how you can't see, obviously, what the energy is within that person, right? That they may be vindictive or don't want to see you get to the next level, which they may not know you, but they can feel something about you. Okay, let me tell you something else abstract that I've learned about Accra. it could fit any place, but I'm just going to say it from here. Now, we know that the economy is really, really challenging here for the people who were born and raised here. And a lot of people don't understand when I speak to them that live outside of the country and to the people that live inside of the country, right? I don't want to go too long with this, but I think I have to really officially say it, right? That, to make my point, that when they see someone, many of the folks who are suffering in the poor economy, when they see someone come from not just America, but UK or Turkey, wherever, because there's a lot of different nationalities that live out here, and especially up in the mountains. When they come here and they see us, or when I come here, when people like me come here, and they see me, they see someone who, oh my God, you came from America. Why would you want to come to this place? And many of them are speaking from a place of suffering financially. Like, you're here, so you're going to feel this suffering. Not necessarily, and I'm not a rich man. But the exchange rate, which now is 1 for 16, $1 brings you 16 CDs. When I first moved here, it was $1 for 5.75. Now, that's just numbers to you, because when you convert your money over from America, as far as dollars are concerned, or anywhere, you get the exchange rate. For every dollar I bring, I get 16 CDs. If it's 5.75, then I'll get that. It never fluctuates for me. I get the full value of my money. Okay? But for the people who live here, if they made, and people have told me now, this is crazy. This is not like the going rate, right? Because there are people who make good money out here, who have connections to companies outside of the country, and who make good money here from within. But comparatively to the United States, it kind of sucks, right? So say, for example, if the exchange rate, and I'm going to just do this, we're really going deep in all these different points, right? I know some of y'all like this style. Get to the point, Lance, you talk too much. Well, if you don't like that, then just X out and be gone, because we're going to do this sometime. But say, for example, a person makes 500 CDs a month. And I know a lot of people who make around that money. It could be 1,000 CDs. That sounds like a lot. But I know a young lady who was offered a job as a waitress at 500 CDs a month. It wouldn't work if it was $500 a month, especially in America, right? And especially out here, because money goes too. But if you really look at it at $1 for 16 CDs, and she's making 500 CDs a month, 250 CDs every 2 weeks, 125 CDs a week. I don't want to have to break out my calculator, but I'm going to do it just to give you an exact figure, because I'm kind of still in gloomy land of waking up. I'm taking my sweet time. Here's the calculator. Let's take 500 CDs divided by 16 equals, okay, how did I do this now? Let me break this down. Okay, I did this wrong. 500. Oh yeah, I did it right. 500 divided by 16 is 31.25. Now the exchange rate might be a little bit above. It fluctuates sometimes daily. 31.25. That means $31.25. Let's round it off to make it easier to 32. Okay? So you're making 500 CDs a month, which is the equivalent of $32. $32 a month. Which is the equivalent, if you break that $32 in 4 parts, you're making $8 a week. $8 a week. So why do you think that many who are here who are not making much money think we're rich? when in America we throw around even poor folks who are labeled poor, like, oh man, I ain't no millionaire, I'm poor right now. Money-wise, you come here, $8 to most people, it's a lot when you're broke, okay? Let's not be, there are times when I've been so broke, I've been looking between the cushions of the couch, looking under the couch, looking in the car in the ashtray, looking under the seats, and just barely making it. I don't claim that, but we've all been there, most of us at least. So even then, we have access to $8. We'll go to I'm not saying me, but we'll go to McDonald's, or we'll go and spend something extra, you know. It is what it is. But here, if you work for $8 a week, and I'm not saying everybody does. When I broke down what the police make, not the military police, but the ones who are just the regular ones, you know, directing traffic, or they may, you know, a lot of them don't even carry guns. The military police here, they got machine guns, and they have some police that have guns, from what I can see. I don't know exactly, right? The higher ups carry their guns. But I looked at the basic salary and broke it down, and it ended up being, and this is not all factions of police, but it ended up being $200 a month, $50 a week. So, do you see why the mentality is a certain way it is? They think we're rich. Things we throw out, they'll look in the garbage, or I'm not saying they're all scavengers. I'm not putting anybody down. I'm just saying the overall mentality where every bit counts. That's a way of life. And it should be a way of life for us anywhere we go. It's a way of life for me because I don't waste. That's why we've gotten as far as we have without the help of anyone, because we're on our own. And embracing the fact that you're on your own is so empowering, because now you know everything depends on you and your God. So, that being said, coming back to the energy fields, coming back to the feeling of freedom, coming back to being careful when you get around people, being able to create your home to be a real womb where nobody can just perch up somewhere and just observe your life. You don't even want that. There's energy in your gaze. Listen, I did not say gaze like homosexual. I meant there's energy in your gaze when you stare at someone. You ever have the feeling of like, I feel like I'm being watched? And you look, you're walking down the street at 10 o'clock in the morning, you don't see anybody. But then you have that feeling, and then it's like, you look up at this particular window for some reason in the house, and you see a curtain pulled back because somebody was staring at you. It's been proven to me that Dr. Lila Africa, he had several books, and there was one book, and I have it here somewhere, the exact title, not Nutricide, but it's the other book. It's a thicker book, and he has these real black children, like on the front, like they're made of some really black material, but they're there on the front. And he was saying there's energy in staring. And sometimes we invite energies into our world by staring at things. It's in your gaze. If you like the way someone looks and you look at them, they understand that you're admiring them. If you're looking at a woman in lust and she can tell, I can see the lust in his eyes, even though he's coming over here to me in a legitimate acting way, I can see the lust in his eyes. You see what I mean? So you got to be careful what you look at. You got to be careful what you look at on social media, because you'll be so juiced up with lust, so juiced up with sadness because it seems like everybody else is doing so well, because they put only the best, or they portray the best. You see? I know a woman who didn't have many shoes. She was ridiculed for that. And so, and this is something that happened in a long story. A family member revealed that she'd try on shoes at the mall and take pictures of it, like, and randomly put them up. You didn't notice she was in a shoe store. But people are like, oh, you have such a nice collection of shoes. You're the next Imelda Marcos. You know, Ferdinand Marcos, former president of the Philippines years ago. I'm quite sure he's deceased. His wife had so many shoes. And it's like at the time, you know, had so many people suffering. And they lived lavishly, and that was a big thing in the scandal when that came out. So that's what that meant. But you just have to be careful. And I'm saying this to say that. I said all of this to make this one point. That when a person has a certain mindset, as many people who may be in a country that may not be financially abundant, where things are flowing, they could feel a little defeated. They can feel a little down. I noticed that while there's happiness here, there's also on the other levels a gloom. Like, there's no money. We don't have much type thing. Yet I've seen poor families. On the other hand, they don't realize what they have. They wake up. They have nature. Nature supports them. They live up in the mountains. They go get the fresh food. The mangoes, the papayas, the watermelons, the pineapples, the vegetables. They cut it up, it's fresh. And this is why they look so healthy. They don't have the morning commute with the smog and the exhaust that they're breathing in a traffic jam, and they know they're going to be 10 minutes late, and they already had 2 warnings and they might lose their job and have that stress. See, it's different. So you can look at it 2 ways. And they might feel, after looking at social media, like, oh, I'm poor. I don't have what they have in America. I need, and I try to convince them of what they really have. You see, we're in America going to Whole Foods to get GMO-free food and paying top dollar for it, and here they are, everything's growing freely, and they can eat as much as they want. They might collect rainwater and get pure water that's not in a plastic container that's messing with your hormones as a man to raise your estrogen. So there's a lot of things in nature, and this is why a Bill Gates and the Dr. Fauci's, and I won't go too much, you know why, the reason why we had to wear the mask, and they want to have it where we're under their control. They hate nature, they hate God. That's just what it is. They're evil people. And they want to make everybody think that we need to be in these 15-minute cities or these engineered cities where they can control us and our every movement with the digital cash, digital economy. I see it, and I don't care who thinks I'm crazy. I don't want to be a part of it. There are people who brag about being a part of that, and the gadgetry and the money and all these different things. It's like, why would you feel proud to be a slave? Even if I have less. And my desire, I've never been one who was materialistic. At times I've done very well financially. I've always driven and had vehicles. I've had more cars in my life than I can even count on. You know, being a man, you know, you get this here, you get that there, you get a little deal here, you already have a car, and somebody says, hey, I'll give you $1,000 for this, and you say, okay, I'll get it and flip it and sell it, make a little bit of money or whatever. Crazy stuff. I've had a lot of vehicles. So I don't have a desire to wear wealth on a materialistic level on my sleeve. I don't. I really don't. Me, when I'm here, I throw on my dirty Crocs. I always say dirty. I don't walk around dirty shoes, right? I have shoes still packed away because we're still doing a little construction here to keep it away from the dust. So, I mean, I have things, I have clothes. Even though I gave away a lot of my clothes, I still have a lot of clothes. There's a lot of clothes coming in barrels soon for me, right? But I've never been that person who burned to have what the next man has. I'm a creative, 100% a creative. What do I mean by that? I mean that I love to draw, I love to write, my imagination. I don't care about the next person's debt. Oh, they have this car and it's luxury. Well, you pay that money out. Even if you paid it cash, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bedazzle me because that's a transaction. And I know I piss a lot of people off because they can never pull me into that game. I throw my t-shirt on, my shorts, my Crocs. I don't even dig out all my clothes that I have here. There's some weeks that go by where I have 3 t-shirts, 3 pair of shorts, 3 sets of Crocs. So I use my work boots when I'm gonna do some heavier stuff. And I will put on some heavier work jeans if I have to do some stuff, branches and stuff that poke you, of course. But I mean, it's easier. You wear it, you wash it. You hang it, you wear the next one. Simple life. But when you are here, and what you take for granted, having even middle class money in America, to the people that are here who are suffering financially, you are rich, and you can't tell them anything different. No. And they're so fooled by the imagery of America. You see here, there's no real way of credit. You have banks, you have loans, but those are not for the 85% of the people. You have a government job, you have a big business when you're handling lots of funds. The banks will work with you. But when you're a dude who came from a small village, hundreds of miles into Ghana, and you come here, you're not even on the map. There's no Equifax, there's no TransUnion. You know what I mean? It's just you. So if you buy a little car, pretty much 85% of the people here purchase it with cash. That's why usually it's not brand new. There are people here who can afford to look, we have millionaires and some billionaires here in Ghana. And there are affluent parts of this place that blow, to me, certain parts of the United States away as far as the advanced stuff. There's a hospital in Accra. Space age, clean, advanced. This is to throw off on the people in America who think that there's nothing here. You can get anything here that you can get in America without the crime, without the hassle, in the lifestyle if you choose so. Some people like to be in chaos and drama and bullets flying and mass shootouts and stress and commutes and I gotta get to work. I might get fired and the boss. Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to get away from it. I'm so happy to get away. I got the last laugh on America. Maybe some people like stress. I don't know. If that's your thing, fine. But when they see you here, they see you in America on social media, they think because they may have had to pay cash for something, they see a young man or young lady with a Lexus truck. And that young man or young lady might have got out of college and they're still building their credit, but they had a few $1,000s to put down. But they didn't put down the whole money for that Lexus truck. I'm just using a Lexus truck for an example. It could be a Toyota Corolla for all I care. And they see all of these people with cars, newer cars. Why did a fly come in here to bother me while I'm talking? And they always want to come hang around you, and they always want to get in your ears. I got something for you. I'm not going to try to knock you down. But you're not going to have me in fear of getting in my ears, so I'm going to rip this little tissue and stick it in my ears and talk. I can talk the same way. You're not going to get those orifices. Why do they like to get into your ears and mess with you? These flies are like demons. These flies are, I'm just playing, but they're evil people who were brought back to be a fly. And how miserable it must be to be a fly. You want to land on feces, you want to land on stink things, you're constantly, so you see a human being who's enjoying life. And some people don't have to be flies. You know, they like that. They want to mess with you. They want to bring turmoil and chaos to your life. Those energies, be careful. So they see on social media people stunting with cars and big houses and not realizing that they have to pay every month. And you tell them, you know, you may make money there for the most part, but you're spending lots of money. They don't want to hear it. They still want to go to America. Okay? I'm not saying it's the most evil place in the world, but you better have some money. So they'll give up the freedoms of what they have here as far as the clean living and everything. With low money, trying to leave nature because he thinks that's the way, to jump from that into the fire of America. And then they're worn out, tired. Some could make it. Yeah, you can make it in America. But there's so much more to deal with. So now, here's the point. When you walk with enthusiasm here, they equate that with money. They equate that with you being in an ascended state if you're happy. You see? They don't like it. If the evil ones, if you seem to have enthusiasm, oh, you got money. Money doesn't make me happy. It makes it easier for me to be more comfortable. But whenever a fellow Ghanaian may be extremely enthusiastic, it's like, what's up with this guy? He's not depressed because he's making little money. So you'll see people selling their fruits and selling their things in the markets, in the street. And some of them are so beat down, they're like, I'm just going to lay down here and just sell these few little things and settle for that. And some may be enthusiastic to say, you know what? They have a different mindset. I might be selling this now, but I want to pursue this. I want to pursue that. That's the people that I want to get around, right? But those who are defeated and not just discouraged, but defeated, it's sad. And then when they see your enthusiasm and say, hey, could you give me this? Could you give me that? To be beat down so much is really a bad thing. And I have a lot of sympathy, you know. So you have the different types of energies that come at you that just want to get things from you or use you or whatever. That's like that anywhere in the world. But the difference in the enthusiasm here, you shine out. And then when you're from somewhere else, oh, he must be a millionaire, right? So these are things we have to deal with. And it's the same in America on different levels. But they can mask it a little bit more because we have so many more distractions there. You know, but be careful of people's energies. This fly is like, he took set on me. I'm gonna try to get, boom! Nope, it's too fast. I got something for him when I finish this thing, but he's flying around my mic. He's assigned to me. Could be a spiritual drone, you know, to distract me from what I'm doing. I talk crazy sometimes, but it's not really crazy. I had the experience the other day. I was sitting in front of a window here on the top floor, because this is a 3-story structure, and there was a bird that came to the screen of the window, and he was trying his best to push his beak into the screen. He was flapping his wings, and it frightened me. It startled me for a little bit. And this happened for like 20 seconds, which is a long time. Like, what was the message that this bird was trying to convey? What was he going through to do that? And I'm looking right at it just like 2 feet away. It was trying to get in. What was it? You see, I've learned to observe nature because nature reflects a lot of what's around you, and you may not know it. Right? Now see, the fly left. It can't buzz in my ear anymore. You took away the ability to distract me. So now, in this dream that I had, I'm going to come to the conclusion of what all of this meant. Like I mentioned earlier, when you have a dream of a social media content creator that slips into your dream, maybe not as them, but you see their face, they talk like them because you watched a few videos before you went to sleep. So this is one particular creator, Ask an Older Man. That's his channel. Older guy. I can't say that. He's not older than me. Maybe he might be a year or two younger than me, but I don't see myself as any chronological age. I see myself as energy. But I guess I'm an older man now, right? At 61. But I was in my house, but it wasn't my house. It wasn't this house. It wasn't any house I lived in, but in the dream, it was my house. You know how dream magic happens. Well, I was eating something at a table. It wasn't a kitchen. It wasn't a dining room. It was a table, and I was in this room. And I like the guy as a content creator, so this wasn't him. I didn't have a dispute with him. But he was standing up, and I was eating, and he was reading a newspaper, but he was looking over the newspaper and looking over his glasses. He had glasses on. You know when people, sometimes when they wear glasses, and they have a condescending attitude, and they have a way of holding the glasses and looking over at the spectacles, looking at you like, okay, what do you want? You know, it was a condescending stare as I was eating. Now, I forgot what it was that I was eating, but a crumb dropped off the fork and hit the ground. Just a crumb. And he's looking over the spectacles and looking at me. He said, don't you see that crumb? I said, yeah, I see it. Now, this is in my house, and you know, I didn't see him as the guy who was a content creator. I realized that after I woke up. So he was just anybody to me in the dream. So I said, yeah, I noticed it. He said, why don't you go to pick it up? I said, listen, I'm eating, and when I'm done, I'll sweep up. Now, why do I have to answer this man this? I'm in my home. I can take the whole plate and dump it on the ground and say, okay, I'm gonna leave it there for 5 days. So what? What are you gonna do about it? Do it, Mike Tyson. So what are you gonna do about it? So what are you gonna do about it? Huh? What are you gonna do? So I'm eating, I dropped another crumb. He kept pointing out the crumbs on the ground. And I said, listen, I'm gonna enjoy this meal. And for some reason, you're upset when the crumb drops, but it has nothing to do with you. I'm home. Let me enjoy my meal. And this person wanted to lord over me. He wasn't sitting down. He's standing like maybe 4 feet away, which is close, leaning up against the wall, looking at his paper, looking over his glasses. And he wasn't even reading the paper. Every time I looked at him, he's staring at me. And I'm like, what's this guy's problem? So eventually I said, listen, if you can't allow me to enjoy my meal, you need to go. I don't know why, who was he, right? What was his purpose? But I basically said, you need to go, we'll connect, we'll talk later on, but I need to enjoy this meal. And he's like, no, you're sloppy, you're this, you're that, you're unkempt, you're dirty. I said, listen, I don't need to hear this in my own home. I stood up, I looked at him, like the next thing was a little physicality. Okay, we'll say it that way. We don't want to get knocked on YouTube or anything, right? So he said, okay. But this is not the last time you're going to hear from me. I said, is that a threat? Then do what you have to do now. Because see, I don't bluff. 95% of most men bluff and they give you the mouth. But these guys do not want to get punched in the face. And I'm not a tough guy, but like I'll call you on your bluff. I don't care how big you are, how small you are, whatever. And I think people know that. That's why I walk around as a good guy. I'm not a nice guy, I'm a good guy. Nice guys walking around and get walked all over. I'm a good guy. I'll do the right thing for you if you're a good person. But people have found out that he's a good guy, but he's not always nice. And I can be nice to the people in my tribe. But if you're outside of that and try me, you're going to get it. A lot of people around here have found that out. I have another side. So that side was coming out. And he left. And I woke up. And that's when I started to feel the effects of not getting the REM sleep, because I came home with the energies from so many people after being isolated. So you have to take your transition into being around lots of people gradually. This is why when you break up with someone after a long relationship, you just don't jump into something else, because you'll be vulnerable. Like I was vulnerable to the thousands of energies that were around me and passing that didn't really know me. But it affected me talking and engaging with so many people. And see, me coming from this atmosphere, coming from this sanctuary of a home that I have, because everybody's home is not a sanctuary. This here is a sanctuary. I directly hear the Creator's voice speaking into my life. There is no distractions where I am, and it's beautiful. I can kick myself from not getting to this point in my life earlier, but it makes it sweeter after all I've been through, right? So this is why everything is at an accelerated rate with my creations and the higher level things that I do. What did the dream signify? The dream signified me getting rid of the anxieties, the stresses, and the tensions of my life that stood over me and tried to dictate and micromanage every little thing that I did. So I was purging this feeling from me. As the message came in earlier, I was purging this thing. I was claiming back my life. even though I have it now, but any semblance of it, any thought of it, I got rid of the last bit, because that's what it was for me. See, like even the thing that creates you could be the thing that destroys you. What do I mean by that? In bodybuilding, right? You see a young skinny kid come into the gym and he works out, and he lifts heavier and heavier, gets stronger and stronger, but he can't put on any more muscle, but he sees himself as that little kid, and he tries his best to put on more muscle, lift more weight, and now he gets injured and can't train at all. I got my name and earned my name online by putting out lots of content, pushing. Not to be famous, not for money. There are times that I made some money, and most of the time I don't make any money now. Maybe $100 a month. But I still put more money into the platform than I earn. So I'm top heavy. But now, I don't create to keep up with a quota. If 2 days go by and I don't do anything, I'm cool with that. I'm living life. My creations come from the inside. There's no external anxiety pressuring me. Because with the whole thing about getting hits and subscribe, I don't care. After the other channel was taken down, I don't care. I still got most of those videos that I haven't yet to upload. I don't even want to mar the new channel with that stuff. I want to keep it purged of certain energies. This is a fresh start for me after all I've learned. So in my life, I take it as it comes. I reflect it as it comes. There's no more of that type of urgency where you have to sit in front of the computer all day long. Look, I just woke up and just started talking this, and we've been on for just under an hour, right? I'm going to put this up. I can say that's what I did for the day, and that's it. Everything will come from the heart. Everything will be intuitive. Everything will be what it is. And I'm in such a wonderful place that way. And that's why the quality of what I do will come from the heart. I don't consider myself to be a news reporter, but if I want to talk about what's happening in the news, the current events, I'm going to do it. You know, I got more time to draw, to enjoy the sun, to take walks on this property, to do everything, to be purged of all of these energies that want to use your energy for their purpose or destroy or try to steal your destiny. It can't happen. I'm back to my original form. It's like a fighter who fell off. He was out of shape. He wasn't doing right. But now I found my first love. I found my base. I found myself. And I reject all of those energies. And you can do the same. Just be careful of the energies that you have around you. I refuse to grin and bear with energies that I know hate me, don't like me, don't want. I'm not even going to give you no eye contact. You do not exist. This is my life, and I proclaim it to be mine, and I'm going to live it to the best. The Creator gave me my life. Nobody's leading me. You can influence me on a positive level. Hopefully the way I influence you. But no way. I'm free. And that's a heck of a place to be at this age, because so many people get to a certain chronological age. And guess what? They're so muddled down with the scars and the things that they've been through and looking at the past and, oh, this happened to me back in 1979 and this person broke up with me in 1981. It was like, no, I don't care. There are many people who think that I should have had nervous breakdowns years ago or lost it. I'm here with just as much enthusiasm as I had when I was a 15-year-old boy. And this is what's keeping me young, my enthusiasm for life. I will not be defeated, and you don't have to be either. That's the point of me going through this. And now I understand. I'm keeping my blinders on now more when I go around the different energies, and I ain't bringing that stuff back here. And ain't nobody coming in here with their energies either. This is my sanctuary. Whether it's a big house or a little room or under a tree, you must have your place where you recharge and rest and become more of who you're supposed to become and to know yourself. I know myself. I love myself. And it's never going to stop. Anyway, much love to you all. LANCESCURV out. LANCESCURV.com. Hit it up. That's where everything goes. And I will see you later. Peace.
LANCESCURV.com. Bold, raw, and uncut.